Welcome inside episode 626 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan on the outskirts of enemy territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, alongside Brandon Pillar up in the Blue Mountains, and the boys are back in town. Both Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk arrived yesterday, and it's time for Senators hockey, coming soon to an arena near you.
And our Sen Central Citizen segment is back with Damian Smith today. We go through the highs and lows of being a Sens fan, why he became a Sens fan, and how excited he is for the future of this squad.
All that coming up on today's edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. It's your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Wednesday, September 7th. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube, where the best way you can help the show grow is to like every video by simply clicking the thumbs up and subscribing to the Locked On Senators channel so you don't miss any bonus content like the Behind the Blog series that will continue this Saturday and Sunday, or the organizational value rankings. Tier 2 was posted yesterday, and we are on to the final tier, the top 8 players of the Senators organization. That video will be released exclusively on Locked On Senators YouTube on Thursday, September 8th. But Pilsy, there really does seem to be a first day of school vibe where it's the day after Labor Day. You see it just driving around whatever city you're in, but I'm sure we have listeners who are back at school, and it really seems like the Senators are all starting to come together from different parts of the world, all culminating at the Bell Sensplex in Canada.
Class is in session for these young lads getting back on the ice, and yeah, Timmy's here, Brady's here. This is the first time, well, I mean, COVID obviously plays a big role in that, but it is the first time that we've seen kind of fans gathering at these events and players taking pictures. We saw our girl Becca Ross.
Yes.
She met up with a bunch of the guys, including her guy Austin Watson, who they share a special relationship, obviously. So it was great to see pictures like that. Brady was there too, and the excitement is building. Like, I feel like this is a boiling pot of water, and we're starting to simmer now. Like, the bubbles are starting. The rookie tournament is happening. Preseason is just in our sights. Like, I'm so excited to get things going here.
I was talking to Crooker too. He's about to make the cross Canada drive all the way from BC to Ottawa.
Yes.
So I told him if he needs a bowl of soup or anything, pop by on the way in. Only one road through Manitoba, buddy. It comes right through the peg. So no, the guys are all coming into Ottawa. That's great. You mentioned the rookie tournament, which is sneaking up in a hurry. It's a week this Friday. You will get to see players skating around the ice wearing Ottawa Senators jerseys. Now, my main question is, will Jake Sanderson take part? This is a player who is coming off a major injury, was just at the rookie showcase in Washington. Looks great in the new threads. No jersey ad, by the way, for the Ottawa Senators as of yet. Some teams already have the patch on their sweater, which, I mean, you knew it was inevitable with the money they lost during the pandemic, but it doesn't make it suck any less. But patches I can get on with are the ones the Senators will continue to wear, a little patch in honor of Eugene Melnyk. They wore it last year. It's like the white with the black lettering there. So the Senators will start the year with that. That's a long way to say Jake Sanderson has worn the jersey now, but will we see him on the ice with it next weekend, or would you just hold him out, say you're too valuable, we don't want you getting injured potentially in a meaningless game, just come to training camp ready the next week?
It's an interesting question. You know what? Jake Sanderson, from all accounts, from everything we've heard, has said he's 100%. Why not throw him in the rookie tournament? This is a guy that hasn't played hockey in quite some time. It'd be nice to get to see what he can do up against his peers, like not up against like full-time experienced NHLers. I say throw him in the rookie tournament if he's healthy, because you can only put him in a bubble for so long. Like, eventually he's got to play games. And sure, these are meaningless games, but it'd be great to kind of allow him to hit the ground running and to have a little momentum going into camp. So I don't feel strongly about it. If your rebuttal, Ross, was who cares about the rookie tournament? He's going to be a top 4 defenseman, future of this franchise. He's had some injury struggles. Let's not put him in this tournament. That's fine with me too. But I'll say I want to watch him play. We saw him in the jersey. I want to watch him play now. So let's do it.
Yeah, selfishly, of course, I want to see him play next weekend, but I would understand if Pierre Dorion and the Ottawa Senators just say, what's the point? We saw Crooker get hurt, miss an entire season based on a rookie tournament game. It's 3 games. They're playing Buffalo, Boston, and I think Montreal's the 3rd game in there too. And there's just no need to risk injury. At the same time, though, I only said that mostly because I wanted to, not just agree with you wholeheartedly, but the bottom line, I love when people say this when they talk about holding people out as a precaution. They're hockey players. They want to play hockey. Let them play hockey.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Jake Sanderson probably doesn't want to miss that. Like he's probably ready to go. So
yeah.
And that gives us an extra like that. If Jake Sanderson's playing, that's appointment viewing the first game. Like we got
postcast for rookie tournament.
Possible.
We are thinking about potentially doing it for preseason, but you'll have to stay tuned for Monday's Locked On Senators. We'll have a recap of the rookie tournament up until Monday because their 3rd game is on Monday, but we're going to have the weekend recap episode, potentially with a special guest, on Monday's show. I'm going to be away for the weekend, but we've got a great interview for you coming up on Friday. But first, we've got an awesome Sen Central Citizen for you as well. On the other side of it, we're going to give you an update on the home opener ticket link, the group ticket pricing. It's coming soon. I said it's the week after Labor Day. It is the week after Labor Day. But first, Pilsy, spring, fall, those like transitional months, those are always the most important to eat healthy and eat well. Don't sacrifice good taste when you're trying to get healthy. Where would you go if you wanted to have a little something new in your diet?
There's only one place, Ross. It is Built.com. The protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. By now, if you guys have been listening to the show, you know all about Built Bar. But what I love about Built Bar, Ross, is they keep the same formula, make it taste good, then figure out how to make it healthy, cover everything in chocolate, which is also great. And they mix it up too. Like their new line of stuff, Ross, they're making granola bars now. So if you like Built Puffs, if you like Built Bars, you are going to love the Built granola bars, already in 3 flavors: coconut, peanut butter, and white chocolate berry. They're the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. Don't just take our word for it. Check it out for yourself. There's so many flavors. We recommend, if you haven't tried it yet, get the mix box. Ross is raving about the cookie dough chunk for a good reason. There's chunks of cookie dough in there. It's delicious. That's on the Built Puff Bar with protein infused marshmallows. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's a marshmallow with protein in there. It is delicious. And there's only one place you can get that, and that's at Built.com. So go to Built.com, use our promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your next order. One more time, guys. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar.
All right, now let's get to this week's Sen Central Citizen. It's Damian Smith. All right, we now welcome on this week's Sen Central Citizen, and it's been a long time coming to be joined by Damian Smith. You can go follow him on Twitter at Damian__Smith. He is a hockey obsessor at the Toronto Metropolitan University Sports Media Program. We had our first chat a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Damian. So welcome to Locked On Senators. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's an honor being on here. It's definitely been a while, but let's get going here.
Man, you're in the heart of enemy territory. What's the vibe there right now? Have you been by to see Alfie's poster on the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, no, I haven't been down there yet. Unfortunately, I've only met a couple Sens fans so far, just at the ODRs and stuff, but being kind of quiet so far. I'm still looking to find a Sens fan in university though. I haven't seen one yet.
When you say at the ODR, are you rocking a Sens jersey at the ODR?
I am. I got the O logo, but the one that they wore at the outdoor game. And it's
in Ottawa, the red one. Yeah,
Yeah.
sick,
Mhm.
sick.
Yeah, that's solid. Hey, if I got any advice for you, if you do find a Sens fan at school, start a podcast. Maybe 630
Mhm.
episodes later, you're still going strong. That would just be my word of advice.
Yeah, no, they're a little bit rare down here. I'm not gonna lie, but find some eventually. So
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, you're getting your Sens fix, covering them over at Dine Sports. Of course, they're friends of the show as well. Kyle Skinner and the gang over at Dine Sports. But rewind the clock for me, Damien. How'd you become an Ottawa Senators fan?
yeah, so it was in the David Rundblad era, around late 2011, right?
Yes, the magic number
Um,
7 era, the YouTube
yeah,
video, eh? That's
yeah.
you with all the views on that video, eh?
Yep. So basically it was around that time, but I kind of followed the team on and off. Like 2010, I remember I went to the playoffs. It was like game 3 or 4 against Pittsburgh. But I was like 9, so I didn't know too much about the team yet. Um, then the next year, I think we sucked, so I didn't watch them at all. And then it was 2011, 2012, right? I remember they traded for Kyle Turris.
Yep.
And I remember my friend telling me about the trade. I was like, "Oh, this guy's like he's pretty good." I watched a couple of his highlights and stuff. And then the earliest member I remember having was Turris's first game back. I think it was against Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won like 4-2. He picked up an assist, I believe. I remember Condra scoring. Always loved that guy. He was so good. But and then it just kind of went from there. So the love grew every single season, and then eventually, obviously, the past 5 years they've been really tough, right? But I've still loved this team to death. They've got some bad parts, obviously, but it feels like, right now we're finally starting to turn the corner and all the casual fans are going to start coming back. So it's all up from here.
Oh, you're muted, Ross.
Classic me. You went 2 for 3. Buffalo, not Boston, but you
Okay.
nailed it. 4-1, and Kyle Turris assisted on an Eric Condra goal. That's awesome.
There you go.
Great
There you
memory
go.
right there. And then they greased their way into a playoff series that year against the New York Rangers. At what point did you go from yourself? You always start out casually enjoying the team, starting to get interested, as you said, when Kyle Turris came over. At what point were you like, okay, there's no turning back? Getting to the fact that you stood in for 5 years of unparalleled failure.
Yeah, I would say like it was probably that season. I remember because I was probably 11 at that time. So I mean, I wasn't a little kid, right? So I could stay up to the games. I could probably watch until the end of the third period and then off to bed, right? But yeah, it was basically 2012, and after that, I really I never took a break. I always try and watch every single game, every single year, even in the 2019 days, right? Those are some really hard games to watch.
What was the lowest low, like right up top of your head? Was there a single game where you're like, what am I doing?
Oh my god. So many in the 2018 season. Because listen, we had no prospects then,
Yeah.
right? I remember seeing a graphic on Sports and it was like top prospects for the Sens. And I think it had JBD, no, it wasn't. It was Gustafson. And Logan Brown obviously was on there, and then there was Andrew Sturtz or something, a guy in the AHL who they just signed from the NCAA. So there was nothing to look forward to. They sucked defensively that year too. Those were the Pyatt and the CC and the Thompson days, right? Nothing against those players. They were overvalued by Boucher. But yeah, that was early 2018. I think that would be the worst time.
Yeah, I'm looking at a few of those game logs right now, and they are not pretty. The 2018-19 season, there was a 9-2 loss to Buffalo in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was a stretch of 4 games where in the 4 games, they got outscored 20. They allowed 23 goals in 14 games. I guess they made it a little interesting by making one a 7-5 loss. But yeah, defensively, it was just, impossible to watch this team. For some reason, what always comes to my mind is the game before, or I believe they were healthy scratched after, but the last game that Mark Stone, Matt Duchene, and all them played, They scored 7 goals and still lost.
Yeah.
It was 8-7 to Chicago.
Yeah, it was that game. I remember.
DeBrincat had a hat trick. Funny how things turn around.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. No, that season wasn't like, I would say it was probably the second or third worst, but it was because we had like some hope, right? We had Brady and Shabbat was like, I'm still waiting to see Shabbat reach that offensive success, because I think that year he had like 55 points in 70 games and he started off the year so hot, got injured and everything. But yeah, that year we still had Brady and Colin White, and like he looked good at the time and we could score. So that season was okay, but like the Uber and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, the year before, you can look at there's a 5-0 loss against the Jets where they got outshot 49-21. And at that point, I don't know how we all got through it, but it's a lot more fun to reminisce about it now than it was to watch then. Like look at this. This is to Damien's point. I'm glad he brought this up, because I think Sens fans at this point, we can laugh about it. Like, outside of Erik Karlsson, like, is there anything in this lineup that gets you excited at all? I'm looking at Gabriel Dumont. I'm looking at Johnny Oduya. I'm looking at Nate Thompson. All Freddie Claes and Alex Burrows, all in the same lineup, guys.
Nah, Clayson. I love Clayson though. He was good. He was good. I'll say that. But Burrows too. Like, Dzingel was cool and stuff, but like Oduya playing in the top 4.
I think Gabriel Dumont is the guy that really strikes a chord with me. I don't know. I had higher hopes for him, and that just did not work out.
Well, it was also Guy Boucher, head of pro scouting at that point in the rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a draft pick, right? Like Dumont?
No, I think they got him. He had him in Tampa, like a few of the other guys. Yeah. He brought him in there being like, he's a culture guy. He's the kind of guy you have to have when you're going to be last place.
Ross, I remember my hot take for that season was Gabriel Dumont was going to be the only new addition that signed an extension, and oh boy, swinging a miss on that one. That's why it's a hot take, though, right?
No, he definitely
did not. Yeah.
His elite prospects photo is still with the Sens.
Ah, nice.
That probably tells you all you need to know. It's kind of like the stat where no Senators head coach since Jacques Martin of the 7 has ever gotten another head coaching job after leaving Ottawa.
Yeah.
True. Yep.
Yeah.
Nah, not gonna lie. Yeah, this is hella depressing. So
do you want to move on to today's Sens?
Yeah. Let's move on to that.
So, Damien, what gets you most excited about the Ottawa Senators 2022-23
Go to your happy
season?
place.
Yeah. So like, it's the top 6 is the obvious option. I wrote an article on Dines. I looked at I organized it by ice time. So the top 6 forwards by ice time every single year in the Ottawa Senators 30-year history, right? And then I added up all their point per games, and then I divided it into 6. And according to the stats and everything, this, based off last year's results, should be the 5th best top 6 the Ottawa Senators have ever had in their history. After, I think it was, the first one was 06, obviously.
Yeah.
07. 08 was up there as well. And then 2001, which I was a little bit surprised of, because, those were the dead puck era. But yeah, basically, if we add all the stats up together this year, it's another year of growth for 5 of the top 6 forwards. This could be a stacked lineup.
Wow. Just to quickly go back, I know it's way ahead of your time, or before your time, I should say, Damien, but that year you mentioned in 2000-2001, you had Yashin with 88 points in 82 games.
Yeah.
I believe finishing top 3 in MVP voting that year. Marian Hossa had 75 points in 81 games. Sean McEachran had 72 points in 82 games. And Alfie had 70 points in 68 games. So the offense was certainly there. And that was when a 19-year-old Martin Havlat came in and had 42 points in 73 games. So, sure. Some good offense there. And you're saying that and then 50 in 06, 50 in 07, that's all we really have to say about that. Have a slice of pizza and enjoy the highlight reel of that one. And even 2008, they started the year, I think they won 20 of their first 20 few games. Yeah. They're unreal. I mean, they fell off at the end, and then Pittsburgh, it was their time to come over the top after losing to Ottawa in 07. They've made quick work of Ottawa in the playoffs, but you're saying that this top six has the potential to be as good as those guys?
I would say like it's not as top heavy, right?
Yeah.
Like let's just put the bias aside and everything. The peak, like I would say that Kachuk is scoring is around a point per game. Maybe can hit 85 like one day, right? Norris, I don't know. He's kind of all over the place for me. I feel like he's for sure 30 goal scorer. Do I think he's going to get like 40? I don't know. And then Batherson point per game, he could easily hit. Same thing with DeBrincat, Stützle. Like all these guys have the ability to hit point per game, other than I would say Norris and Giroux at this point of his career.
Yeah.
So do you think you take a look at like 06 to 08, right? They had a stacked first line, but after that, it kind of dropped off. But in this instance now, you have two like basically first lines. So you could roll, you send out the Kachuk, Norris, Batherson line. They hem in the defense for the entire shift. Then all of a sudden, Timmy comes over the boards. He holds onto the puck for the entire offensive zone. And then he dishes it to DeBrincat. He like slams home a one-timer or whatever, right? Just you have the ability now, you have the depth and like the offensive talent that is going to do wonders this year for this team. I would consider them like top 10 offensive, like in the league this year for goals for.
Now, heading to the opposite side of that argument, though, the goals against, I would say another big part of something we haven't seen for the Ottawa Senators in quite some time is two stable veteran goaltenders. And Anton Forsberg and Cam Talbot. Now, on any given night, DJ Smith has a guy he can be confident in. And the thing with the Ottawa Senators, and for quite some time, I'm trying to find the exact year. I think I sort of have it here in 2014, 2015, is they haven't had two goalies where they could rely on either of those guys. I mean, in that year, it was three guys with the Hamburglar.
They didn't even know they could rely on them until after. Like, even while I was watching that streak every game, I was like, no, the shoe's going to drop. He's turning into a pumpkin.
Exactly. Midnight's got to strike soon. So I guess maybe would it be the year before or after? But what I'm trying to say is they're not going to have to rely on one guy getting insanely hot, or at least that's not their banking strategy. How do you feel about the goaltending tandem moving forward into this year? And do you think it was the right time for Pierre Dorion to make that move, trading a high prospect possible goalie of the future in Philip Gustafsson for 1 year of a veteran goalie in Cam Talbot?
Yeah, what I like about what he did is that you for sure have two stable goaltenders, like you guys talked about last year. Like Murray and Gustafsson, you basically went in, you were like, I don't know if they're going to be good enough or if Murray's going to be healthy or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden Forsberg took over. But I like now that they have a tandem that they can just go into the season and they don't have to overthink about it, right? Yeah, like they're not going to break the doors down. Like I don't think they're going to have a 925 save percentage or anything like that. But like a 910 to 915, if both those goalies have that save percentage at the end of the day, like there's nothing you can complain about that, because like they both make what, like around 3 million each.
Forsberg under 3 million and then Talbot at 3.66. So very salary wise crease.
Yeah. So I mean, you have Sogard coming up too. I would literally throw him into the category of like Pinto and Greg and Sanderson. Like, don't trade him, because low-key I would say our goaltending depth has taken a hit. Marilainen doesn't look fantastic right now, at least. But yeah, like going to this year, this should be a solid goaltending tandem, and I don't think they're going to hurt us in any aspect.
Yeah, and as goalie-friendly show, we love to see that. Next question, I'll take it off the ice here, Damon. You mentioned wearing your Ottawa Senators jersey at the ODR. If you're going to buy a Sens jersey, which jersey is it going to be? Like what color, and who's going to be the player on the back if you're getting a new jersey this season?
Yeah, there's so many that you could pick from, but I would say like Sanderson. I've always been a fan of like the odd numbers, so it's 85, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's got a ring to it.
I feel like that could be a collectible. Like I feel like eventually he's going to change off from the 85 and having his old number.
He can't though, right?
No, you don't think so?
He could if he wanted, but he seemed like when I watched him on Wally Thought, he was saying like even if I go somewhere else, it's unique. He like I think he's
okay.
85 for life.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
yeah, like
maybe instead of changing his number, he'll get Ocho Cinco put on the back on the top instead of Sanderson.
Yes,
Eh?
Jake Sanderson is that type of dude. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I like that answer though. I mean, I feel like almost like Ottawa dad level, but for me, it's got to be Claude Giroux. Like, I just have to watch him my whole life, that sort of thing. But Damien, you mentioned Jake Sanderson, and I'm glad you did because to me, he's the X factor, obviously on the blue line. How would you ease him into the NHL, or do you? If you're DJ Smith, do you just say, "Hey, go play 20 minutes a night, kid," or are you easing him into offensive zone draws and situations that you think will lend him to be more successful right off the bat?
Yeah, I don't think Sanderson at the end of the day is going to be like, a Makar level or anything like that. I think max he's probably like a 50-point defenseman, but just very steady, right? But the reason why I think he could jump into a top four role this year is that they developed him like perfectly. Obviously, he's had the injuries and everything, which sucks. And that hand, like we were monitoring that the entire summer, right? So that's the only thing that concerns me really is that he has the ability, he has the defensive and the offensive ability to be good in both zones. He's like 6'2", so size isn't going to be an issue for him. And he is a great skater as well. So I would say he's probably going to I would say DJ Smith is probably going to ease him into the lineup. Probably playing 17 minutes a night to start off. But then around let's say the 30 game mark, you could easily see Sanderson playing 20 minutes a night, playing on power play number 2. And he's one of those players that I think is going to have the ability to just play a quiet game and be one of those players that you can look at and be like, when was the last time he made a mistake? Right. Because I compare him a lot to Jacob Slavin in Carolina. He's not someone who takes really any penalties. He logs a lot of minutes. He has a great stick and very good defensively as well. So
I like that. Hey, I watched one of your videos today about Connor Brown. Was that a guy who you wish the Sens could have kept?
Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie. There wasn't a spot for him, right? I'll always go back to Connor Brown because you go back to the years in 2019, that first year up until, I would say the bubble year and this year, Connor Brown was one of those players that was good, right? He wasn't an aging old veteran that was good 5 or 10 years ago. But he was good now, but he worked his butt off every single night. And
played with a broken jaw one night, and
right?
both his hands were banged up all season. He was a warrior.
Yeah, so he was just one of the bright moments in a lot of dark years, and that I would have kept him around for another year, but I understand what Pierre Dorian was doing.
Yeah, and the trade was already on his mind when he called Claude Giroux Connor at the opening press conference right off.
And they shared the same number, it was
yeah, no doubt. Damien, hit us with a hot take going into the season, whether it's a player projection, a team projection, or anything else throughout the Senators organization.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, it's really hard. I would say Lassie Thompson grabs a top 6 spot at the end of the season.
I like that. That's spicy.
Yeah.
By the end of the season? No, give me how deep into the season are we talking here? Is he going to help them? Is he going to help them to a push for a playoff spot?
I think a better question is how many games do you think he'll get?
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to predict Lassie Thompson has 50 games in the year.
50. Okay.
Yeah, he comes around that 30 game mark. Let's just say I'm just going to throw out a prediction right now, right? Basically, one of the right shot defensemen gets injured, whether it's let's say Hamonic, right? Hamonic goes down. Thompson comes in, plays a top 6 role, and then plays better as we get into the season. I wouldn't say he's going to help us get into a playoff spot. I still think we're just a glimmer away. Say 5th in the division is a safe bet. But yeah, I'm pretty high on him. He looked very good last year. It was just those defensive efficiencies in his own zone. But you can tell that all the tools are there and he's got the right mindset. So I would say Lassie Thompson, bank on him being an NHL defenseman next year.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great to see it. And this is going to be a big year for Lassie. Final question for me. And I guess you might have already shown your hand at how you want to answer this question with your Lassie Thompson take. But do you believe that the Senators will take a dip in the rental market at the trade deadline? Like, are they going to be in a position where they're not quite in the playoffs, or they know they're fighting for the playoffs and they're willing to give up future assets to acquire, let's say, a rental defenseman, and that would leave Lassie Thompson probably on the outside looking in? Or do you think they just say, hey, this is our first year outside of the rebuild, let's see what this team's got, and we can try to assess the needs we fill in the upcoming offseason?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna go after like a top 4 right hand or like right side defenseman. I think that they'll probably go with what they got because you can't forget Zaitsev still on the team. And then also you could have Clevin coming in next year, right? And I believe if Clevin signs a contract, he can't go to the AHL.
Yeah, he can.
Oh, he can? Okay, never
Clevin,
mind.
yeah, he can finish up there.
Okay. Because I remember like JBD signed and then he never got sent down.
That's probably just the agent being like, hey, if you want him to sign, he's playing in the NHL the rest of the year. You get a little goodwill. But
who knows? Like maybe they do that with Clevin too. But
yeah.
But yeah, basically, like I wouldn't say that's one that they're gonna look at this year. I think like their top 9 set. If they do add someone, it's probably like a depth forward. Like their fourth line's pretty much set as well. I'm not sold Gambrell being the fourth line center. I don't think there's a ton of offense there. But yeah, as far for like rentals, I don't think they're going to make a splashy move. I think that's a move that they look next offseason. Because we know that they're going to score a lot of goals, but they need to make the right trade on defense because, you look at someone like Mackenzie Weegar, he could definitely be a guy that they target. I'm not sure if he's maybe your number one priority though. I think he's more of like a offensive two-way defenseman. So pairing him with Shabbat might not be the greatest. But who knows? Like I could totally be wrong and he could be fantastic. So, but yeah, like that's something that I think that they'll discover later in the 2023 offseason.
Awesome. Well, hey, this is an excitement around this team for sure. And we appreciate your coverage of it as well. Where can everyone find your work? I know on Dine Sports, and where else?
Yeah. So obviously, yeah, Twitter is Damien__Smith. I do a bunch of stuff. Basically it's what you do when you get into university. So I run this thing called Kraken Prospects. Shout out Sens Prospects for the idea. Just for fun, basically. Write for Dine Sports as well. And then but I have a TikTok channel called Hockey Never Stops. And right now you can find it on my Twitter right now. It's pinned for the Ottawa Senators preview this year. Basically, I'm doing a preview for every single team up to October 1st. So that's another channel that you can find me on.
Nice. I just followed Kraken Prospects right now. It's a good way to keep in the grind in while you're in school, man. We appreciate that. Stay strong in the heart of enemy territory, man. Yeah, I know what it can be like there, but you'll find some red and white outside of the ODR as well. Damien, we appreciate being a Sen Central citizen, man, and we'll have you on again too throughout the season, man. This was great.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Stick taps to Damien for joining us. Really appreciate his time and love his writing over at Dine Sports. So make sure you go check him out on Twitter as well. Damien _Smith. All right, Pillsy. So it's the game we've all been waiting for. We're reached out to by the Sens on June 2nd, 6 months before the game, but it's sneaking up in a hurry. What's your level of excitement here as we inch closer to October?
Like I mentioned, I'll reference the boiling pot scenario again. It's simmering. Like the bubbles are popping here. We're not quite boiling over. You're not ready to put the noodles in yet, but it's getting hot, and I am excited. And I was just on a call with our Sens rep yesterday trying to hammer out the final details. We've got the row. We've got the pricing. From the sounds of it, Ross, it just seems like the Ottawa Senators are experiencing a massive boost in ticket sales that they have not been used to the last little while. Let's just say that. So there's people being trained on a new website. They're working out some kinks, trying to make sure everything is all put together. So from what we know, the link for our Locked On Senators podcast section should be up within the next couple of days. Trust us, guys. We're doing what we can to get this going. We know, we've heard the excitement. Ross has sifted through the DMs of people being like, when's the link coming? When's the link coming? We're just as fired up about this as you, and we're going to make sure we can get as many people possible to this event, because the more the merrier with Sens fans for the home opener. It's going to be a blast.
And if you know the CTC at all, the 200 level is like pretty small. It's only like 10 rows deep, and that's where a lot of season ticket holders have theirs. So with this influx of season ticket members, we had the option to get our seats in 220, and we're like, okay, if everyone doesn't have the opportunity to, let's just make 320 the wildest, wackiest section in the entire arena. So initially I'd put out that you'd have the option between 220 and 320, but I almost feel like we don't want to feel like anyone's big timing us in, or like we're big timing anybody in the 200 type thing. We're all going to be boots on the ground, 320, and the price is right. It's what, $36 a ticket?
Yeah, the pricing is surprisingly low for a home opener. So everybody should be, or hopefully everybody can make it. We'll have a blast. We'll try to set up a meetup event before, probably.
We will.
Same spot
at Stanley's.
That worked out well. And Ross, what I want to get going this year is we should, and I don't know, are we allowed to officially organize this? But what I want to do is let's get the whole section team together in the 50-50, and if we win, we'll all split it. Winning the 50-50 is on my bucket list, Ross. If I have to split it with a bunch of Sens fans to do it, I don't care. I want to pool together and let's win this 50-50, and then we can go out and have one hell of a night. Will it happen? Probably not. That's the way it works, but that is a dream of mine, and if I can get that done with a bunch of Sens fans all together, amazing. So let's get that going.
Are you going to wear a vest, like the 50-50, the yellow, the orange, like construction vest? And just when people walk by into our section, you grab $5, and then what? You stand there with the pot of gold afterwards and just start handing out cash, or what?
Yeah, we're not math guys, so as you can tell, I haven't figured out the logistics of this yet. This is just something that popped into my head.
Great idea, though.
I thought, Ross, you were going with, I'm going to wear the 50-50 vest and trick other people into thinking that, like, okay, we're getting 50-50 tickets here. Meanwhile, our section is actually getting scooping up all the 50-50 tickets. So
that's one way to, ensure victory.
Here. Yeah.
I like that. All right. Well, hey, no matter what, it's going to be a great night. And like we said, we're going to try to plan the same thing at Stanley's. I know it's a weeknight. Don't feel obliged to make it to Stanley's pregame. I think we'll make the pilgrimage up to the CTC probably around 6:15 for a 7:30 game, and then hit the tents, buddy. Hit the tents.
We always have plans to get there early.
The tents.
Doesn't usually happen, but yes, there is motivation to get there early this time. The tents are awesome. I don't think I've been early for a sports game in my entire life. The pre-drinking and pre-celebrations usually tend to stretch a little long.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic night at the CTC. So the link will go live. What did he say? Let's do our exact quote from our boy with the Sens. What was the exact quote of when we will have the link available to the good people?
Should be done Friday. That's a long should be done Friday, at the latest Monday. The latest, which is still the week after Labor Day, because the Labor Day is the Monday of the holiday. So then it's the Tuesday. So it's the last day of the week after Labor Day. We appreciate everyone's patience. We're fired up to be there with you guys. Section 320, same section as last time. And how'd it work? Did it work well? Did we get the dub or what? It's gonna get rowdy. Yeah, we got on the jumbotron a couple times. Who was it that was doing the? They were doing the trivia questions, and we got super fired up for that. I'm blanking on who it was, but we had a lot of fun. Everybody, when the goals were happening, the place was pandemonium. After the game, the celebrations were huge. So you don't want to miss out on this event, I guess is what we're trying to say in a long-winded way.
All right, there's the plug. It's been a great day. If you are a seeker at the Sensplex, and let us know when you see Timmy on the ice. It will be the first look of Tim Stützle, Claude Giroux, and Alex DeBrincat, the latter two already on the ice. All right, Pilsy, I know our interview got pushed back a little bit today. I'm confident it's going to get done.
Oh,
it's
boy.
our last show until Friday. Ottawa Senators general manager Pierre Dorion will join Locked On Senators. When we started this show, did you ever think we would have the opportunity to chat with the GM?
I'll be honest, no. Especially with how the kind of relationship between us and the team was. And there was ups and downs. There was long email threads that didn't seem to go anywhere. But the winds of change are here, and it really seems like the team and the PR people working with the Sens have been great with us recently, and it seems like they're really focused on fan engagement and trying to create a community, which is what we're trying to do on this show as well. So we're uniting for a common goal, and yes, we are scheduled to speak with Pierre Dorion, and that will be a great interview.
And not only that, we'll leave our second guest a surprise, potentially for Monday, just iron out the final few details, but expect an early drop on Friday as we're going to record it on Thursday night and try to get that for you for your drive into work on Friday morning. But for today, we say goodbye. A reminder, the organizational value rankings will reach its pinnacle tomorrow with Tier 1. Leave us a note in the comments, whether you do it on this video or on the video yesterday with the Tier 2. Who's your top 8 and in what order? Pilsy and I will break down ours for tomorrow. But for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.